This is the STA Podcast featuring Daryl Speedy Smith.
Yeah, man, we're starting some doing some podcasts. I kind of want to reflect on with the two guys that played back in the past with me and kind of what they got out of it and what they started doing after it.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, yeah, whatever you need.
Okay. Well, man, if you don't mind, would you introduce yourself? Let them know where you went to high school.
My name is CJ. I go by Joy as I got older, but I went to Plano West for about a year and a half, and then I transferred and graduated from Allen High School. Went on to play D2 and D3 college basketball with a little hint of JUCO in there.
Okay. And those high schools basically they're in the Dallas, Texas area, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. North Texas area. More kind of in the Plano, Frisco-ish area. Allen's further up 75.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Well, I just wanted to ask you a few questions, man, to kind of see how things went for you playing basketball under our organization, and how did you get started with basketball first of all?
It's crazy because growing up initially, I didn't even like watching sports. I would play it, but I could not stand like watching it TV, televised, in the stands, didn't matter. My brother played. He was real big into it, and of course, my father was, and my family. So, family gatherings, cookouts, reunions, there was always a hoop, and there was always people out there shooting, playing horse, or just pickup games, seeing old folks get injured, seeing the young boys get down, have to get back up from the same injury the old folk wasn't able to. But just a lot of hustle and bustle from a young age and not really have an opportunity to play football like that until I got older. But
Right.
at that point, I'd already been playing basketball, so it was a slow burn until I got into middle school, and I played for one other league prior to meeting you. And after that, I mean, the rest is history from there.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Now, when you started playing with us, well, back at the time that was
Hmm.
Tigers Elite, and it's crazy because
Hmm.
that first year we started, man, you can count the games on hand how many we won compared to that second year when we
Right.
made that national title run. But playing with us back then, how did it benefit or how did it work out for you when you played with Tigers Elite?
I would say the main thing for me at that time was I had a lot of raw talent. Like I had the physicality and attributes there, but mentally, that side of the game hadn't really clicked much for me. So it was definitely fitting for me to come from just people I saw every day at school that I wasn't necessarily friends with. But once I came into the program with you all, I became family with the coaching staff, the other parents, my own teammates. So it was just we had a lot to invest into each other,
Hmm.
and you were able to tap into the strengths that we had and then have us hone that to become better athletes on and off the floor. So it was a lot of growing pains for me that I'm glad I was able to go through with you because I've seen a lot of kids, now that I'm older, I look back, I'm like, dang, I remember when I was like that, all the physicality, athleticism in the world, but I wasn't fine tuning it and using it to my strength, let alone just grasping the basics of the game. So
Right.
you were tough on us, and that was good at that age because I know I see kids now who, go through similar things that we did, but they're going through it much younger. And I would probably imagine how fast they have to learn the game nowadays. But with you, it was just gritty, fast paced, and you could tell when you got up under us, to light that fire. It wasn't from a place of just trying to get on a player, make him quit or break him. It was always an aspect where you're better than this. You know what I'm trying to get you to do. We've done it before. We just got to make it a second nature. So I put a lot of the grit that I have in life in general from playing under you.
Man, I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear that because it's so funny now when you talk to these young kids. Like right now, I'm working with a 14U team, and when you talk to
Hmm.
these kids, man, they have no idea the stuff that you're telling them or where you're coming from. They're looking at you like, man, you don't know what you're talking about, or I'm not doing that. And I'm like, the sacrifice y'all don't understand you got to make to even have a shot.
Right.
And a lot of them, man,
Hmm.
it's to the point now, too many people giving them handouts and telling them their grade and not allowing them to work through anything. And when it's time to face adversity, they don't know how.
Hmm.
So it's like I'm trying to implement that back into what we used to do back in the day. Like like now, these kids they don't do any running. Um, I put these kids through some workouts a few weeks ago, and I'm like, y'all play middle school basketball now. How are you not in shape?
Mm-hmm.
And most of them couldn't even get through my little 30-minute warm up to get ready to practice.
Yeah.
So, so it's just funny now, man, how I would not say middle school wise, you get a lot of coaches in there that are like teachers, science teacher, history teacher, and kind of got fit in the fire and really don't know basketball. So it's like when we go to these games and look at kids, it's like, oh man, we got to reprogram them on how to actually play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find kids that are like the top of their school. And I look at it like, man, the competition you're playing against is not what you need right now. So, yes, you're good at your school, but when I put you against 10 other kids that play the same way, where do you stand out at?
Right.
So, prime example, we put them in an event with other EYBL and Adidas teams and New Balance, and we put them in that event, and we played against a New Balance team, if I'm not mistaken. And when I say they ran circles around them, and I got two or three kids on that team that's like the leading scorer, best player from a few schools out in the McKinney area. But when you play against a full team of 9 and 10 that play that way, then all of a sudden it looked like it went away, like they did not exist.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the toughness is not the same anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and we're trying to bring that back in.
Yeah.
But
It's got to, especially with how the game's changed.
yeah, it's definitely changed. And kids think, oh, I scored 20, I scored 25 a game, but I'm like, that's not going to get you recruited. Like if I step in the
No.
gym for 1 or 2 minutes and see how you playing, I can care less about you know how to score 25. Whatever you know how to do, and how did you get that 25?
Right.
So it's a lot of basketball IQ and other things that they're not familiar with that we gotta eventually teach them the rope. Teach them step by step. Why this? Why that? How this? You know. And that's why I say all
Right.
the time, a lot of these coaches end up with superstar teams, but can you coach them? Like when you play another superstar team, can you actually coach them? Because now you have to,
Right.
and
Got to.
make a big difference. So
For sure.
after playing high school basketball, how did it go for you, and what happened going to the college ranks? How did that work for you?
So around that time, I had, some things come up on a personal level.
Mhm.
So basketball in school was kind of my focus based on the fact that when that occurred, I was already in a big transition in my life, just making the move from Plano to Allen. I left in the middle of the semester my junior year. So I had maybe 3 or 4 months going into the summer, played summer league ball with them. And then from there, we progressed through our season. But going into college, that was it's one of them things where it's like a lot of players beg for those letters in the mail and they beg for coaches to come fill the stands, watch them play, have those conversations, start making them calls.
Right.
And yeah, that is an exciting feeling when you start seeing, okay, I have a spotlight of some sort, and I'm being seen. But what you don't realize is you're still coming in as just another player, even though you're going to certain franchises. And yes, you stood out from others, but my biggest thing was, for one, like you said, conditioning was major. So I didn't even touch a ball when I met most of these coaches the first time.
Mhm.
It usually was a conversation we had, as far as like me meeting up to go travel, see the campus, or if they came to us, it literally be some days where you'll finish practice and you didn't know it, but there was a coach that might have been there some way tucked up in the bleachers. And after practice, he comes down and was like, "Oh, like I like the way you play." Da, 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 da. He want to get some times.
Right.
So you running suicides, or he want to see how fast you run a mile, and you just finished the whole practice.
Right.
So yeah, it's about your physical, but it's more so about your mental.
Hmm.
Because you can go in similar to how I did. My freshman year, I came in as a 5, but he recruited me based off of the fact that he saw I could handle the ball and move more as a guard at that size and still be able to, defend back then, with them having like the armbar rules and things kind of being different. But
Right.
when that went away, I still had to play as a center with being on the perimeter, to where now it's like there's 7-footers that's out there shooting and dribbling, running the point. But we were on like the teeter, of that transition. And a lot of that was mental. I'm guarding 7-footers that's standing straight above me, and I just got my hand up long enough to be in their face. But, on that block, I couldn't do nothing with them. So I had to play smart and stop those cuts, switch with others, to prevent my man from getting on the block, pressing him when he did get down there. It's just a lot of discipline and physical strength that comes into it. But the mental can help you outwin most of the games that you think you wouldn't be able to win. Like, if you can play smarter than another player, or you can outsmart your matchup, that can turn the tide of the game sometimes.
Right.
And that's what I was good at. So it's just a lot of adversity and overcoming any type of challenge or obstacles. Because some of them workouts that you get in college, just tryouts, you're going to be like, what? He want us to run 3 miles in 22 minutes. He might even think y'all going to make the 22. If you do, better for you. But he just want to see who's going to give up and who don't. And then as the season goes on, yeah, you're going to walk in the tryouts. It might be 50 of y'all. And he done told you going to start for him. And you this, that, and by junior, sophomore year, you could be looking to go overseas. They're going to tell you all of that. And you get in there, they give you the same tattered jersey they've been wearing for the last 20, 30 years for tryouts.
Correct.
They're going to weed you down. And then you looking up maybe a month before season start, and it's 12 of y'all. And that's your boys. And it's like that anywhere. All the different schools I went to is that same process. Different coaches have different focuses as far as what they want from players. JUCO was more fun. They want you to go out there, they want you to ball, show. It's more like a showcase.
Okay.
After you get through, the athletic aspect of it and knowing the game. D3, I would say it was a little more competitive in D3 because you had a lot of players that weren't getting paid to play. They had to get scholarships. And so they were smart. You were playing with people that was academic in order to be able to go to those schools. So it's almost like the better that the school was academically, the smarter their players were. Don't let them have some athletes because you're really in trouble.
Right.
So that was interesting because that was probably the most intellectual basketball I played, even outside of D2. Because sometimes D2, you might just have a super freak team of athletes that just got a little basic hoop knowledge. But if you slow the game down, all them dunks and all them fading threes and crazy layup, that you slow that down, you win the game by making them tired. They get frustrated, start turning it over.
Right.
So yeah, D3 was more fast paced, or D3 was more intellectual, slower paced, but it was fun. D2 was fast paced, but the mental side of things can get real hazy if you're not focused as a player, and that's where you would always get outshined. And it would happen in a matter of 2 minutes in a quarter, and the whole momentum would change for the rest of the game. That was probably the most intense basketball I've ever played. I couldn't imagine what D1 was like, but yeah, the college levels were definitely fun. I'm glad I kind of got to play on all of them, so I can tell kids, what they expect going into them.
And see, that's the thing. That's the thing that we try to quit out of the kids now. They don't understand the difference of level and what comes with those levels, and what you have to be able to do is withstand in those levels. All of them are better than high school, but you look at as you climb the levels, it's going to get more difficult. It's going to be more time demanding. It's going to take a lot more than what you're used to. And a lot of these kids now are not being prepared for that. And I say that because, like, even with some high schools, they're all about how many wins you can help them get right now. Can you help us chase that trophy at the end right now? But when you graduate, that's a wrap. It's on to the next one. And with high school, they're chasing one thing, but in college, you got to look at these coaches. This is their business. This is their livelihood. And tomorrow, if they don't have the right people in there, they getting that call saying, hey, you either fix this or we'll get someone else that can.
Right.
And I was talking to another guy before. We were kind of talking about injury, how that works. And then if you get injured and if it's major, how they move on to the next person. So did you experience anything like that?
I went through one injury, wasn't major or like career ending, but it did have me sit down for a few weeks. And I was nervous about that because it was in the winter break going into, we getting ready for playoffs in the next month or two. So those few weeks I missed, they hurt, but there really wasn't anybody else that could kind of fill the shoes that I did as far as on offense. Defense, we had bigs, that we could sub in, but the energy itself is what we were lacking. So I was worried about that because I didn't know if that injury was going to change anything and how bad it was. But after I found out what I needed to do, and it was just a muscle thing, like I had just bruised my knee really bad.
Okay.
After that, I was fine. But when I injured my plantar fascia, That, yes, I was worried about that because that happened while I was at JUCO. You know, them JUCO boys come in and out, and a lot of them have talent. It's usually the academics or the mental that may not quite be there yet, or they're just transitioning from one school to another. So it's a cesspool of like just raw talent that'll come through a JUCO. So yeah, I was worried for sure because we had plenty of centers at that time, and I was used to being maybe the third out of two big men. I'd probably be the smallest one, but
Right,
I'd make my way coming off the bench or starting. So for me starting at a JUCO and getting hurt, oh yeah, they had no problem. You know, the guy under me stepping up because I used to go head to head with him
right,
all day. And so I'm knowing like I was sharpening him just like he was sharpening me. And then now I'm injured and I'm watching him do what we were supposed to be doing together, but he was doing it on his own. Um, so yeah, I was definitely worried about that. And they didn't have no problem having other people swap spots. You know what I mean? 'Cause he used to play the 4, so now they moved him to the 5. The shooting guard to move down to the 3, and then you put somebody else in, either your second best PG or bigger ball handler. They run you 2, and you might have found a new system. And at that point, it's like, dang. So now I got to worry about
so
coming
where
back
do
in
you
and
fit
messing up
in
the
when
chemistry.
you come back? Where do you fit in?
Yeah, right. So now I'm worried about when I do come back, like, shoot, that's gonna be right around, conference play. I'm not gonna be at 100, so my confidence is a little shot because I ain't had enough time to really just rehab and take a spring or a summer to just, oh yeah, I'm back to full. I had to just get back healthy and make sure I was playing, but try to fight for my spot back. I knew I wasn't just gonna be able to take it. So yeah, I had to come back and fight and practice for about a good 3 to 4 weeks, just going at it with him before coach finally would be like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll give you your spot back when you start."
Mm,
But he wasn't just gonna give it to me. I had to sit down a couple of games, and he was looking at me because he could tell I wasn't confident. So yeah, injury definitely can take a toll on you, and if it's during a tryout season, unless that coach know you
right,
you top ranked or he went through hell trying to get you or knew what you had, they usually they'll redshirt you quick. And then from there it'll make or break you. I've seen plenty of players redshirt thinking that was best for them and end up being a manager.
right.
So it could go both ways. Yeah, it could go both ways. That the injury is terrifying though. Especially if you have to sit down and there's nothing you can do about it as far as
Right.
expediting recovery. Yeah, that was my worst fear. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's tough, man. And that's the thing, like, they're not going to explain that to you. They're not going to tell you about the ups and downs before you come in. All you looking at is that I was recruited, he want me there, and, I get to continue doing what I love to do. But they don't tell you or show you that the moment mom or dad walk away from their campus and you belong to them now, what's about to be next. And that
Hmm.
I think one thing is a lot of these kids fail to realize the demand that comes with playing on the college level. Um, if you don't mind, let's elaborate a little bit on just the scheduling in itself of playing
Hmm.
basketball. What kind of schedule did you go through daily?
It was tight. So kind of just an example how it was when I was at D2. It's my freshman year. So
Mhm.
you gotta have pretty much a full class schedule. Like you can't take no junior, senior privileges of getting all online. So you wake up usually during the season, even before season, we used to have we pretty much just had workouts before that. But you would wake up and if it was like let's say it was Wednesdays and Thursdays, coach wanted everybody to go to the gym. You wake up, be at the gym or wherever he wanted you to show up for the workout at 6 o'clock on a dot. Run, lift weights, whatever the case may be. You'll do that for about 45 to 50 minutes. You got about an hour to shower,
Mhm.
go eat, and either take a nap before your first class or just stay up, study, and make your way there. And then after that, I mean, after all my classes, I probably had about an hour gap between my last class in order to go get lunch or something to eat real quick and then show up for practice.
Mhm.
Then once you have practice, if you have any classes outside of that, it's usually nighttime. But usually after practice, you either have a study hall or there'll be a shoot around in an open gym. That's before season. Once the season came, you don't do anything but wake up, work out, eat, sleep, study, and repeat. And then when 2 a days come, it's really tight because you thinking you going home like everybody else. No, they're going home to eat turkey, but you got 2 days. And the other days you waking up, go to practice, go eat, go back to your dorm, chill for a few hours, 11, 12 o'clock come around, you're going back to practice. Then after practice, you got study hall because it's finals time. Then after that, y'all have team dinner, back to the dorms, and you do that for about a month during the winter time. And that's depending on how you're doing in the conference. So if you're traveling on the road, that's even a more tight schedule because now you got to involve commuting to the facilities to shoot around. It's really tight. And the coaches don't be playing about none of that. You show up late, you won't start for a couple weeks, or they'll take you out the whole tournament and make you come off the bench.
And see, that's the demand. That's the thing I want kids to realize, and even parents that don't understand how this recruiting thing works. Like the demand is so different from what you're used to in high school. Like the majority of the things we're talking about right now, we're just talking about the basketball schedule itself. Hadn't really got into the flip
Mm-hmm.
side of as we all know, these courses, these classes, the first year you can get away with saying all the classes are easy. But after that, man, sophomore, junior
Mm-hmm.
year, these classes get extremely hard. And we haven't even mentioned where's the time that you have to put all your time into really working those courses. We just talking about the
Right.
basketball schedule right now. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of players and parents don't understand that. And reality is I've seen a lot of kids fail success because they couldn't handle the pressure of being a basketball player at the next level, along with trying to go to school. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's good, man, to bring kids back that have experienced it and can tell guys, basically how it is and what it's like to experience that. And who knows, someone may want to reach out to you, but I, I want them to get an understanding that as a coach, we're telling you what we've been through. We're telling you what we know, what you're about to get into. And it's not to scare you, but the reality is, if you're not ready for that schedule, you're not ready for the next level. And
Mm-hmm.
and I tell kids all the time, your personal stuff ends when you go into college level as an athlete. Like you don't have a lot of personal time anymore. You have what we call their time. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to cater everything around what they need, what you have to do to be prepared for basketball or whatever sport it is.
Right.
So it's
The only thing that's really yours is your passion for how good of an athlete you want to be and,
mhm.
pursuing your academics. That's really the only thing you fully got control over. But where you need to be, what you need to do, yeah, that's the university's time. That's their money now.
Right.
And then the coach has no problem throwing that in your face either. You have no problem. I've seen plenty of full rides get tossed over the simplest things.
And it's funny you say that because like back when you were playing, it was just how much could you get? Full ride, partial ride, or whatever the case is. But now you got all these NILs and portals and stuff going on. And it's just making it that much harder for a kid to come out of high school and think they're ready to go straight to college and play when the options have
Right.
changed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, I appreciate, you helping and giving this information out so people can get a better understanding. It's not like, talking to an athlete that's recently done it and can give back and explain how things work. So if you don't mind me asking, after your college days of playing, what did you do after?
So after the college days, from that point is when reality hits. You pretty much been living on scholarship money, or if you were able to hold down a little job during the summertime just to make ends meet until you were able to get back to campus and that scholarship kick in. Yeah, it's pretty much where real life kicks in. So all the mornings where you didn't feel like getting up real early, well, now you might be working a job that's like that, and you got to be there on time.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I had went to UT Dallas, so once I got out and started looking for work. Initially, I started working at a call center. And then from there, I kind of was just making my way through that because the pandemic hit like 2 years after that, and that was rough.
Okay.
But at that time, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna just go without working. And I ended up finding out about pretty much like a warehouse job that was back where my dad was that was essential. So I ended up going there, but it reminded me a lot of college
Right.
up every morning because at that time they started at 5, even though they told me it was 8 to 5. Like I said, they bait you in, make everything sound good. Oh, we got the big campus, we got Chick-fil-A and suites we got the PlayStation 5s in the training room, like all that goodness. It's like that. They tell you, oh yeah, 8 to 5 weekends off, routine clockwork. No, 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day, and then you had to come in 5 a.m. to 1 on Saturdays, like
Mm-hmm.
clockwork. But I needed the money, you know what I mean? So it was more so about me preparing myself, getting off of work, going home, showering immediately, making sure I eat something because I got to go back to sleep by 8. You know what I'm saying? If I want to get a decent night's rest, anytime past 8 o'clock, I'm losing time and I'm going to feel it the next day. And if I'm eating terrible, it's a manual job, I'm going to feel that the next day.
Right.
So it was back in that, like, my body's a machine and all of this physical pain I'm feeling right now is temporary. And then it got to the point where I was sore so often that was just regular again. Like I had been there before because college. My first game in college, I did the jump ball. My legs was burning. That's how much we used to work out. Like my legs were on fire. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to finish this game.
Right.
I did, but same thing at the warehouse. Every day, body's just burning, in pain. Can't wait to get home. By the time I wake up and go to sleep, come to work the next morning, it's bouncing back again, just getting used to that. And then once I carried from wanting to get from that job back into the working industry and coming back to the city, once the pandemic kind of lifted, I just really didn't have much that I felt like I couldn't do. Like I transitioned from that into, I managed a restaurant for a little minute. Someone I knew was like, how much you making at the warehouse? I know you sick of that. Like, I'll pay you more. I was like, man, I'll pretty much do anything, you know what I'm saying, other than have to go back to the warehouse. So they paid me more. I went there for like 6 to 8 months, but I wanted more and I know I can do more. So that's where the mental side of it came in. I'm like, I know I can show up on time. I know anything physical I can take care of, but I want to step it up to the next level and play more on the business side of things, which is what I was going to college for. That's initially why I wanted to use my degree.
Right.
So ended up making it into the real estate industry where they buy and sell homes. But it was real hard for me to make an excuse of any kind of why this work is any more difficult than what I put my body and my mind through for 2 years on top of what I was going through as an athlete. Me waking up and being to a job on time and punching a clock is the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. It's like I'm on cruise control right now. I ain't got nobody trying to elbow me in my chest, giving me chicken wings that's 20 years older than me, that I know is trying to make me a better athlete. I'm just getting in my car, driving to work, decide what I want to eat for breakfast if I want breakfast. But the mental side of it has become so easy. And I felt like that had not been just the trials and tribulations of an athlete, thinking that they're telling you, oh, you're going to do this, that, and other. And then you get there and you still got to earn your spot. Nothing's given to you. There's no handouts, none of that, unless you already put in that work to where they want you to come there.
Right.
That's different. I didn't have that opportunity. I would say I was probably 2 seasons from being a walk-on had I not met y'all. Had I met you in high school, it probably would have been too late for me. It would have been way too late had I met you like my junior or my senior year, just because I knew I liked the fact that I was physical and can jump, but transitioning into like reality and just where I was at, it wasn't clicking for me. I didn't have a different pace in the game. Everything was fast paced. And that's how I felt growing up. And then once I kind of slowed down and realized there's multiple speeds to this game. I can control the speed if I had a ball. So now as I'm getting older and I started making my own decisions and I'm living on my own, I'm like, okay, I just got this raise. This is my first check. I can either go and celebrate and blow this whole check, or I can save it, make sure I continue to live under my means and just continue to go up here and kill it at this job and get better every day, and just let that pile on each other and just take my time with it instead of wanting an instant bucket or immediately trying to go for a foul and reach and getting the steal. It's not all the gambles that you would think it would be growing up as you get older. You can make the mistakes, but they hurt more. And as I was playing college, it's the same thing. You can get injured, but when it's a dude that's 250 that made you fall or stepped on that ankle, it hurt more than when you were 80, 90 pounds in middle school. So that was the main thing, just learning to slow down, learn, be mentored, and listen, and not listen to how they saying it, but what they're saying, even though they might be spitting in your face or they might have bumped you a little bit. But yeah, there's nothing comes easy. And the more that you work for it, the easier it gets to kind of navigate through life. But I don't feel like there's nothing that I can't really go through. If it's not physically hurting me, I can do it. It can be done.
Right. And a lot of
So
athletes,
yeah, it's definitely it's a mental growth.
Yeah. And a lot of athletes don't understand that you have to know how to play the game fast, but mentally slow it down. And that's when you realize you may not be as good as you thought you were, because you're used to one thing, and as you get older, it changes. And a lot of times they don't know how to catch up and play to that level because they're used to whatever they're used to. And again, when you think middle school or JV, most coaches just allow you to use that talent you have to get by. But as coaches, they don't know how to break it down and teach you how that talent that you have is not going to be enough at this next level, and it catches up with you. So,
Mm-hmm.
man, I'm glad you were able to break it down and kind of explain what you went through and how things went for you. And it sounds like you got things going on now, man, where you're happy and successful with what you're doing. So that's always a plus. And I want to
Yes, sir.
thank you for coming on, man, sharing that information with me. Like I say, I do this to help the future. I don't want them to get the short end of the stick because they didn't understand or never heard how things really work at that next phase, that next level that they say they want to get to.
Right.
So maybe, man, who knows, we can get back together later on the podcast and do more of a breakdown of when you're in college, what to expect, how the normal schedule is, more in the detail, more in depth about what it actually takes to be a athlete on the college level.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely down for that. Like I said, I got plenty of stories, and I went to a few universities, so I had good perspective on different coaches and kind of what they expected and what to expect of them.
Okay. Yeah, man, I would love to hear that. And like I say, just give it more perspective to the kids, man, that's coming up on what the reality is. And again, I don't do this to
Mm.
scare one, but at the same time, if you take that mindset that I'm making things worse, you're afraid now, then this may not be what you really need to do because it
Right.
exists and it's going to be there.
Mm.
So,
Then,
man,
like you said, it's different now with the NIL, and then they paying people now, so your money is a is a factor. You're more of a value now than before. They saw you as kids with ambition. Now
mm-hmm.
you could become a business decision.
Yeah. And it's plenty of kids, as I say, when the door's closed with you in there, that's fine. But the moment you open that door, there's plenty of guys waiting outside for you to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be open arms and saying, hey, come on in. Then what?
Yep. They'll bring them in at the semester.
Yeah, so true. Well, man, again, thank you for the time. I definitely appreciate it. And hopefully we can get back together soon and talk more into depth and details about some things as well on the sports side.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know how to reach me. If you need me, we can definitely lock in another time. But yeah, coach, I appreciate you too, man. More than you know it.
Yes, sir. I definitely appreciate it, man. Maybe I can get you out one day and come talk to the boys in general, man. So they can see personally an athlete that went through everything as well.
Yeah, sounds good. Just let me know.
Okay.
Set it up.
Okay. We'll definitely talk soon, my brother, and take care of yourself, man. And we'll get together soon.
All right, coach. Love you.
All right, man. Take care. Love you, TJ.